According to my research, Evans Graves Engineering has collected more than $150 million in contracts with the state of Louisiana during Garrett's tenure as the CPRA. Should he request an ethics opinion on that? And if he should he ask for the ethics opinion from his own lawyer or from the ethics board of the state of Louisiana?
I'll tell you how this question's been asked. You know, because what's happened is that over the last several months, this rumor's kind of been under the table and people have been whispering. Folks have been afraid to actually bring it out in the open. So I'm glad this question's been asked. Because the reality is, Senator Clayton, not one single contract has been given to Head of Graves engineers since I've been there. Zero. As a senator, if you thought that was a situation that was happening, you should be calling FBI, state police, not bringing it up right here in front of BRZ. That's ridiculous. Zero.
At the time, an issue arose about whether it was a conflict of interest because his father, an engineer, had received large contracts from the Corps of Engineers, a partner with CPRA, and it appeared that it might be a conflict of interest for his son to head the authority. His own father said, and this is a quote, "I said from the beginning there was a potential conflict of interest, and apparently that fell on deaf ears." Well, it didn't fall on deaf ears. Governor Jindal, instead of taking the issue to the ethics board, which he should have done, chose instead to have his private lawyer issue an opinion indicating that it was all right. But there's something in that opinion that I want to read to you because it was totally ignored. Here's what he said, speaking to Graves. "But as we agreed, the appropriate solution is that your father's company not pursue an interest in or receive any state contract that involves coastal restoration, levees, or hurricane protection while you serve the administration. This would explicitly include such contracts overseen by DOTD and DNR." Well, in disregard of that prohibition, his father during his tenure received over $130 million worth of contracts. And it gets worse. The dad farmed out $66 million in subcontracts to 18 construction and engineering firms who later give my opponent more than $250,000 for his campaign and $360,000 to Jindal. See that? Campaign reports. Not mine. That's what they said. The money came from the Corps of Engineers, or they got it from us. Then it went to Graves' daddy, and then he passed it on to these firms, and then they in turn contributed to Graves and to Jindal. Now, make no mistake about it. This is a scheme by Governor Jindal and Garret Graves to maintain and perpetuate the control and interest they have in the flow of money coming from the Corps of Engineers and the BP oil spill. But it gets worse. Later on, they get additional money from BP and decide to build a $35 to $40 million water park complex here to house these industries and these offices that are dealing with coastal restoration. Well, you say that's not such a bad thing, and maybe it isn't. But it involves 1 million square feet of office space, costs $35 to $40 million, and they're going to lease 1 million square feet of office space at probably $25 to $50 a square foot. And you know who happens to be the leasing agent? A fellow named Randy White. And you know who that is? It's Garret Graves' brother-in-law. Now, when you look at what he did for his father and his brother-in-law, I think he's very correct in saying he's
at the same time he said that I used that money to give, I don't remember what the number was, $100 million in contracts to my family. Completely untrue. And I sat there and I struggled and I said, why in the world would somebody go say something like that? Why would they allege that I gave away contracts to family members? It's potentially illegal, obviously immoral. And I couldn't figure it out. I'm struggling with it. Then I went back and started doing some research and found a quote from Mr. Edwards dating back to several years ago, where he said, quote, "Lying is a big part of my job." Like, oh, it's beginning to make more sense.